Well, hello again. I just finished watching the next 3 episodes of Arcane earlier today, and I said I would talk about them if they genuinely impressed me, and I thought they were way better than I thought they were going to be. And so I am here and I'm going to talk about them a little bit more. I have the camera's backwards. I have Slurpee right over here. She's in this video. She ain't gonna do much. She's gonna sit there probably. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about these last 3 episodes and give my initial thoughts on them. Again, I'm not trying to do any spoilers or anything, just kind of initial run through of how I'm feeling about it so far. I will do more deep dive things once the show is entirely out, most likely, unless all of a sudden I have no time on my hands. But I will most likely be getting more deep into it once the show is done again. But for now, I am just doing these initial thoughts things until it's all done. And I'll probably, I don't know if I'll do a live stream or anything because it's kind of hard for me to do at the moment, but I will probably do a much longer video going over all of the episodes and how I felt about the season as a whole once it's done. And I'll get into some spoilers and talk about some stuff then. But for now, we are just going to go over the kind of bullet points that I have that aren't full of spoilers. So far, episodes 4 through 6 genuinely might be my favorite throughout the entire show so far. I really enjoyed, I want to say, might have been episode 6 of last season as well, with the bridge scene with Jinx and Echo. That one was pretty high on my list. The other episode that I liked a lot was the one that had the guns for hire scene. That one was pretty high on my list. But yeah, the episodes 4 through 6 might be my favorite stretch in the entire show right now. And given that it's not the final of the season, is kind of saying something, and so the final's set up pretty good. But yeah, once again, the design in this show is absolutely incredible. I love the style of animation they have, the like painted style, and then they have the 2D effects and backdrops. It is just absolutely amazing, and they do it to such an amazing extent that it's just impressive. Like, any scene you can pause, stop, and look at it, and it's just genuinely impressive. The amount of work that they have put into this project, and just gotta give the animators and the design team props. This show still in these episodes looks amazing, and I need to bring it up because they deserve a lot of credit. That team did a very good job with this project. Within these 3 episodes, there's a lot of like montage moments. There's like some flashback scenes and whatnot, and they kind of jump out into different art styles for a few of them. And it just seems like they were kind of showing off, honestly. Like, again, it fits the narrative that they're doing, and there's a reason the styles change. And it is to kind of signify that, like, either it's a flashback or something else going on. But they looked, like, beautiful. And I really wish that I can get into a little bit more detail with them. But, again, I'm going to not say anything specific just out of these spoilers, but my goodness, if you have seen these episodes, you probably know what I'm talking about. They have looked incredible so far, and normally flashbacks in shows can kind of be a little bit annoying and take you out of it. I mean, a lot of them do end up serving the purpose of the story and giving you information. Like, they can be done well, and they have been done well a lot. But there are some that take you out of the story. These do not do it whatsoever, and they visually just look insane. But yeah, moving on from that, the music video style of things is still in a couple of moments, and some of those moments are awesome. I don't have any complaints about them. I thought, going into season 1, I thought that I would be kind of weirded out by the music video style of things, but especially in season 2, I have grown to just love it, and it's just 100% part of their style and what they're doing, and it just fits in so well. It doesn't matter what song they're putting in right now, it fits the moment, and it is awesome, and I have no complaints from that department. Going with that, the soundtrack, absolutely amazing. They have chosen some great songs. I believe there are some returning artists, and then they have some new ones. Like, I know Woodkid's still in, and of course I think that's probably my favorite score up until this point in the show too, but there were some really good ones in episodes 4 through 6, and they just made the moments so much more impactful, and I'm going to get to some of those in a second, but again, the soundtrack, probably one of my favorites of all time, and that's saying something. It is insane. And then in these episodes as well, there were some really impactful moments with the characters, and they were played out really wonderfully. You could feel the emotion coming off of the characters in so many of the moments, and they're put into so many difficult situations that you're just very interested in how they're going to react, and you can, again, back to the animation, you can see what they're feeling most of the time, and they're just very beautifully crafted scenes, very impactful moments, and just wonderful character work overall. The writers did an amazing job with a lot of these characters. I haven't really felt anything from the characters that's coming off as forced or different from the characters, like it doesn't fit them at all. It just all fits so well with each other. They all, even when they're doing something that the character's probably going to regret later, it just ends up fitting the character still in that moment, even though like it might be something that they would not have done in your mind like at any point. If they do it, the writers, it just comes off believable every single time. So a lot of props there for the writing team. There's a lot of moments in this season, specifically these 3 episodes, that were very impactful. And again, I kind of mentioned this in my last video, but there have been a lot of moments and just the storylines in general of this season that if you told me they were going on and like that was the plan, that was your prediction for the end of season 1, like your fan theory was these things happening that are going on now, I would not have seen it coming. There are a lot of things going on, and I love them. It is just not the direction I thought it was going to go, but it is, and it's really interesting. There's a couple of like aspects that, yeah, you kind of saw them coming from last season, but the way that they're implemented is really interesting, and I am a big fan of what they're doing so far. Did you just fart? That was gross. At this point in the story, too, by the end of episode 6, you can definitely see that there is the setup for, like, the grand finale, because this is the end of the show. The next 3 episodes is the finale of this show. And it'll be interesting to see what the team does from here. If they go and tell a different story in a different location, I assume that's what they're going to do. There is a chance that they just leave it alone, and if they do that, I am okay with that. They're telling an amazing story right now, and as long as we're left with the amazing story that it is, I wouldn't want them, like, hopping back into a project that might ruin things. I fully understand if nothing else happens, but it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, the characters are coming together. It's kind of setting up the finale. You can kind of feel all of the storylines that were more separate are starting to come in together. So it's definitely getting to that point where you feel like something big is about to happen. And that creates... I'm very excited for the final 3 episodes of this, and I hate that I have to sit in that... It's bedtime. I hate that I have to sit in that excitement for the next however many days until Friday at midnight so that I can watch them. But I guess I have to, because I'm not a time traveler. I will say my only, like, complaint is probably there's one plot point that did seem a little bit shoved to the side. Like, I think the people involved with it and everything probably got, like, 5 minutes total screen time between all 3 episodes. And I have a feeling that it's going to actually be a pretty heavy focus within the last 3 episodes. If not, then they just kind of forgot about that whole thing. And I don't think they did. It seems like it still is going to have a pretty important role in the ending. But in these 3 episodes, there was one arc in some of the characters that were kind of non-factors. And it'll be interesting to see where they were. Now that I think about it, there is a couple more characters that were there in the first 3 episodes, but then kind of disappeared for these 3. But again, I do think that there is a reason for it, and they will come in handy, and, well, not come in handy, but come become very important to the final 3 episodes when they do come out. And now, I am not afraid to admit it. If a show is good enough to get me to be emotional watching it, I will admit it. It does not happen too often, not because stories are bad by any means, but I just tend to be a little bit too analytical when watching things, and because of that I create a little bit of a disconnect. And the fact that I was taking notes while watching this, and it still got me to tear up and get emotional. I'm not going to say I was bawling at the moment, but I was definitely tearing up. I was definitely emotional, and it was probably my favorite moment in the entire show at this point. And looking back at when all of the stuff going on was set up, I didn't think that it would be, but it ended up being pretty dang big, and it was just genuinely a beautiful scene when it happened. It was at the end of episode 6, the scene I'm referencing, and I did get emotional during the scene, and there were some tears welling up, and I mean, that's all I'm gonna say. It was genuinely awesome. And I have a feeling that there's probably going to be another moment or two like that in the upcoming 3 episodes where it gets me to feel a similar way. But I just wanted to bring that up. It did get me in the old tear duct department for a little bit at the end of episode 6. And that said, episode 6, probably my favorite episode so far. But yeah, that's all I have at this point. The next 3 episodes should be crazy. I have a feeling that there's probably going to be some moments that we did not expect coming. But, I mean, that's just good writing. If you can predict everything that's going to happen, I feel like the writing department's a little bit meh. Or at least, I mean, it can be a solid story, but it'll just get a little boring when you see everything coming from a mile away. I have a feeling that there will be some amazing moments, some very emotional moments. And given that this is the final 3 episodes of the show, I think they are going to go all out. And I haven't heard anything on the outside or anything, but I have a weird feeling that the last episode might be, like, closer to an hour than the 40-minute mark. I have no basis on putting that out there. I just have... That's my theory. But yeah, I can't really think of any major complaints so far. I love it visually. I love the story. Just the soundtrack, everything about it, I really don't have any complaints about. But I am very excited for the last 3. I'll do another initial thoughts for that one because I am about 100% sure that it will impress me to the point where I need to talk about it. And at this point, if it disappoints me, I'm going to want to talk about it more because then I'm going to be like, all that build-up for nothing. But I seriously doubt that's going to happen. Their track record to this point is pretty good. I don't think I've disliked a single episode of the series through seasons 1 and 2, so... But yeah, that's going to be all from me on this one. Again, I will have another initial thoughts out probably in like a week and a half. But with that said, I'm going to get going here. And have a good day. God bless.